You have probably chanted this exact line 1,000 times in your life, completely unaware that you are casually reciting the most terrifying, physics-breaking blueprint in the history of the universe. We live in a modern world that is completely obsessed with superhero movies. We pack into crowded theaters and spend billions of dollars to watch fictional green screen characters shrink to the size of insects, expand into towering giants, or bend the fundamental laws of physics to save the world. We treat these concepts as the ultimate modern imagination, just fun ideas cooked up in a Hollywood writer's room. But we are completely ignoring the most detailed, ancient, and historically revered accounts of divine physics ever recorded in human civilization. A lot of people miss this. But the greatest superpowers ever documented aren't found in a modern comic book. They are deeply encoded in the Hanuman Chalisa, a 16th century devotional poem that billions of people chant every single day. There is a single line in the Chalisa that most people completely gloss over. When they recite it, they speed right through it out of sheer habit, treating it as just another beautiful verse in a cultural song. But if you actually stop, pull back the curtain, and look at the strict, literal, scriptural translation of what is being described, you are not just reading a poem. You are reading a perfectly preserved ancient historical record of the Ashta Siddhi. These are the 8 supreme divine powers that completely and utterly shatter the known laws of biology, gravity, and quantum mechanics. To truly understand the terrifying and awe-inspiring scale of these powers, we have to look directly at verse 31 of the Hanuman Chalisa. It states, Ashta Siddhi Nava Nidhi Kedata, as Bardeen Janki Mata. This translates perfectly to, You are the bestower of the 8 divine powers and the 9 divine treasures. This massive, universe-altering boon was granted to you by Mother Sita. I've noticed that many modern scholars and internet philosophers try to water this down. They get uncomfortable with the supernatural, so they try to say these powers are just neat little metaphors for having a good attitude, being mentally strong, or overcoming daily obstacles. But the ancient orthodox texts, specifically the Valmiki Ramayana and the Ramcharitmanas, absolutely do not speak in poetic metaphors when describing these events. They describe literal, physical, and historical events where Lord Hanuman actively manipulated the very fabric of reality to serve the supreme will of Lord Rama. Now let's get into the real secret of what these 8 divine superpowers actually are, and how they were historically weaponized on the epic battlefield of the Ramayana. The very first divine power is called Anima. This is the absolute, terrifying ability to reduce your physical biological body to the size of a single atom, completely bypassing the limitations of mass, bone, and cellular structure. Imagine the profound understanding of quantum mechanics required to shrink your physical form without losing a single ounce of your consciousness, your memory, or your raw physical strength. During the desperate search for Mother Sita, Hanuman reached the shores of Lanka. This wasn't just a city, it was an island fortress entirely protected by massive towering walls, terrifying demonic Rakshasa guards, and impenetrable dark magical barriers. If he had flown in with his normal, massive physical form, he would have instantly triggered a chaotic, bloody war before he could even locate Sita. So, he invoked the Anima Siddhi. He shrank his physical form to the exact size of a tiny, buzzing mosquito. He completely bypassed the greatest, most heavily guarded military defense system in the ancient world, slipping through the microscopic cracks in the giant stone walls, completely undetected by the powerful demon guards who were actively looking for intruders. He moved through the enemy capital as an invisible, atomic-sized spy, proving that true power isn't always about being the biggest person in the room. But the second power, Mahima, is the exact opposite. And it is equally mind-bending. Mahima is the ability to expand your physical body to an infinitely massive size, taking on literal cosmic proportions. When Hanuman was leaping across the vast, treacherous ocean to reach the fortress of Lanka, the celestial beings watching from above wanted to test his strength and his intelligence. They sent Surasa, the terrifying mother of the Nagas, to block his path. She rose from the water, opened her massive cavernous mouth, and demanded to eat him, stating it was a divine boon that no one could pass her without entering her mouth. If Hanuman was just a remarkably strong monkey, The epic story would have ended right there in the middle of the ocean. But he invoked Mahima. As Surasa opened her mouth wider to swallow him, Hanuman expanded his physical body. She opened her terrifying mouth to 10 yojanas wide. He instantly expanded to 20. She opened to 50. He expanded to 100. He became a towering cosmic giant, his head literally reaching into the upper atmosphere, blocking out the sun. And then, in a brilliant display of supreme tactical intelligence, he instantly switched back to the Anima Siddhi, shrank back to the size of a human thumb, darted directly into her massive open mouth, and flew right back out before she could even trigger the muscles to close her jaws. He didn't just defeat an ancient monster with brute force, he defeated her with absolute physics-breaking mastery over his own molecular structure. The third power is called Garima. This is the highly advanced ability to become infinitely heavy, manipulating the gravitational pull of your own physical body so that absolutely no force in the entire universe can move you. In my opinion, the absolute greatest demonstration of this power didn't even happen in the Ramayana. It happened thousands of years later, during the Dwapara Yuga, deeply embedded in the epic timeline of the Mahabharata. Lord Hanuman, who is a Chiranjeevi, meaning a truly immortal being who survives across the cosmic ages, was resting quietly in a dense forest. His spirit brother, the mighty Pandava prince Bhima, who possessed the terrifying, undefeated strength of 10,000 elephants, was walking aggressively down the narrow mountain path. Hanuman decided it was the perfect time to completely crush Bhima's massive, inflated ego. He laid down as a frail, incredibly old monkey and let his tail casually block the entire walkway. Bhima arrogantly ordered the old monkey to move its tail out of the way of a royal prince. Hanuman politely and softly said he was far too weak to move, and suggested that the mighty prince simply lift the tail himself. Bhima smirked, grabbed the tail with one hand, expecting to effortlessly toss it into the trees. But Hanuman had silently invoked Garima. Bhima pulled. Nothing happened. He grabbed it with both hands. He planted his feet deep into the dirt. He strained every single massive, bulging muscle in his entire body until he was completely covered in sweat, his veins popping, gasping for air. The tail did not move a single microscopic millimeter. It was anchored to the ground with the infinite, unbreakable weight of the entire cosmos. Bhima's arrogance was instantly and violently shattered, falling to his knees as he realized he wasn't looking at an animal, but standing in the overwhelming presence of supreme divinity. The fourth divine power is Laghima, the exact perfect counterforce to Garima. Laghima is the ability to become entirely weightless, lighter than a single dry petal of a lotus flower, completely unaffected by the Earth's gravitational pull. When you combine Laghima with his immense physical strength, you get a being who can travel faster than the speed of the wind itself. When Lord Lakshmana was fatally wounded on the blood-soaked battlefield of Lanka, struck by a terrifying celestial weapon, the only thing that could save his life was the glowing Sanjeevani herb. The problem was, this herb was located thousands of miles away on the freezing, jagged peaks of the Dronagiri mountain range in the Himalayas, and time was rapidly running out before sunrise. Hanuman didn't just run. He invoked Laghima and launched himself into the upper atmosphere, flying with terrifying, absolute supersonic speed across the entire Indian subcontinent. When he landed on the mountain and couldn't specifically identify the correct glowing herb, he didn't waste precious time searching the dirt. He utilized both Mahima to grow to a massive size, and Laghima to make the entire millions of tons mountain absolutely weightless. He uprooted the entire Dronagiri mountain range with his bare hands and carried it through the night sky back to the battlefield in Sri Lanka. Modern science struggles to move massive stone blocks from ancient pyramids, yet the orthodox scriptures document a being actively manipulating the gravitational field of an entire mountain range. The fifth siddhi is Prapti. This is the divine, reality-bending ability to be absolutely anywhere, reach anywhere, and acquire anything instantaneously. It is the absolute, unquestioned mastery of spatial dimensions. A being with Prapti is not bound by locked iron doors, protective magical realms, or even the strict boundaries between different dimensions of existence. During the darkest, most terrifying moment of the Lanka War, the demon sorcerer Ahiravana used dark magic to kidnap Lord Rama and Lakshmana, dragging them deep into Patala Loka, the lowest, darkest dimension of the underworld. It was a realm completely sealed off from the earth, heavily guarded by dark magic and terrifying, bloodthirsty entities. But Patala Loka could not keep Hanuman out. Because of the Prapti Siddhi, he effortlessly pierced the dimensional veil. He didn't need a key, and he didn't need an army. He entered the underworld, systematically defeated the dark sorcerer, and rescued the supreme lords of the universe. There is absolutely no space in the entire cosmos, physical or spiritual, that is closed to him. The sixth divine power is Prakamya. This is the ultimate power of irresistible will. It means that whatever Hanuman specifically desires to happen must legally happen in the physical world. The universe literally bends its fundamental rules to accommodate his supreme will. But here is the most profound, beautiful part of this specific power, and it is something you must absolutely understand if you are studying the Sanatana Dharma. Hanuman has the power to fulfill any desire in the universe, but he has absolutely zero personal desires. He does not want to be a king. He does not want endless wealth. He does not want global fame or massive temples built in his honor. His entire unbreakable will is entirely focused on exactly one thing: serving Lord Rama, because his will is entirely selfless, because it is pure, unadulterated bhakti. The universe cannot stop him. When the demons tried to stop him from crossing the ocean, his will overpowered their magic. This leads us directly to the seventh power, Isitva. Isitva is absolute lordship and total unquestioned dominance over the physical elements and all the laws of nature. It is the raw power of a supreme creator and destroyer. When the arrogant demon king Ravana decided to publicly punish Hanuman in his royal court by setting his massive tail on fire, wrapping it in oil-soaked rags and igniting it, he thought he was torturing a simple, helpless animal. But Hanuman possesses Isitva. He has total lordship over Agni, the Vedic deity of fire. I'm going to be honest with you here. What happened next defies all human logic. As the massive roaring flames raged around him, as he leapt from building to building, consuming the entire golden city of Lanka and reducing their massive mansions and armories to absolute ash, the fire did not burn a single hair on Hanuman's body. To him, the raging inferno felt as cool and soothing as a block of solid ice. The element of fire literally lost its scientific property of heat because the master of the elements commanded it to. He used the very weapon they intended for his violent destruction to systematically burn their entire corrupt, demonic empire to the ground. The eighth and final divine power is Vasitva. This is the supreme, deeply subtle ability to subjugate, charm, and completely control all living creatures, bringing chaotic minds and elements into absolute perfect harmony. It is the ultimate power of psychological and spiritual influence. But again, Hanuman never uses this to become a cruel tyrant or to force people to blindly worship him against their will. He uses Vasitva to bring profound peace and to instill pure devotion in the hearts of others. When he finally located Mother Sita in the heavily guarded, terrifying Ashokvatika, she was completely surrounded by demonic female guards, deeply depressed, starving, and highly suspicious of any dark magical tricks by Ravana. Hanuman didn't use force to reveal himself. He used the subtle divine influence of Vasitva to instantly calm her deeply traumatized mind. Hidden in the branches above, he softly began to sing the true glories of Lord Rama. The frequency of his voice, infused with this supreme divine power, instantly shattered the dark anxiety of the garden. He brought absolute, undeniable peace to the Mother of the Universe in the middle of a literal, waking hell. When you deeply analyze these 8 powers, shrinking to an atom, expanding to the cosmos, becoming infinitely heavy, becoming entirely weightless, traveling effortlessly through any dimension, possessing an unstoppable will, commanding the physical elements and subjugating all minds. You are looking at a being who is technically, by all modern definitions, a supreme, unparalleled God. But this is exactly where modern, secular interpretations completely fail, and it is the single most important, overriding lesson of the entire Ramayana epic. Despite holding the absolute cheat codes to the entire physical universe, Despite possessing the 8 siddhis that could easily allow him to conquer every single planet, galaxy, and dimension in existence, Lord Hanuman chooses to kneel. He chooses to fold his hands, bow his head, and sit humbly at the feet of Lord Rama and Mother Sita. This is not a story about how to use magic to get what you selfishly want in life. If you are watching this video thinking you can just chant a specific mantra to magically get these powers and become a billionaire or a famous influencer, you are completely insulting the scripture. These terrifying powers are not cheap tools for human greed. They are the supreme, natural byproducts of absolute, pure, unselfish devotion. Mother Sita granted him these powers because she knew, with absolute cosmic certainty, that he would never, ever use them for his own ego. He would only ever use them to protect righteousness, to destroy evil, and to serve the divine will of God. A lot of people miss this. But true, unbreakable power in the ancient Vedic tradition is never about how much you can aggressively control. It is entirely about how much you can peacefully surrender. Hanuman is the most powerful being in the entire universe specifically because he is the most surrendered being in the entire universe. His ego is completely zero, which means his cosmic power is absolutely infinite. The very next time you listen to or chant the Hanuman Chalisa, I am asking you to not just mumble the words on your way to work. When you reach the line, Ashta Siddhi Navanidhi Kedata, I want you to visualize the terrifying, universe-bending scale of the divine physics you are actually praising. You are calling upon the immortal warrior who holds the actual fabric of reality in his bare hands, yet chooses to use that massive, apocalyptic power simply to wipe the tears from the eyes of his true devotees. If this deep dive completely shattered your perspective on the Hanuman Chalisa and the epic, authentic historical truths of the Ramayana, hit that like button to help hack the algorithm and spread the real glories of Sanatana Dharma to the rest of the sleeping world. I read every single comment, and I really want to hear from you. Which of the 8 divine siddhis do you personally find the most awe-inspiring, and how does the true story of Lord Hanuman inspire your own personal faith in today's chaotic world? Let me know down in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on all bell notifications right now, because we are totally committed to bringing you the absolute deepest, most authentic, scriptural breakdowns on the internet. Completely unedited and fully grounded in the ancient texts. Stay faithful, stay devoted, and I will see you in the next one.